Can.
Everything is okay?
Yes, it looks so. We are waiting people.
Tüm gruplara saat 17'de başlıyoruz diye tekrar mesaj attım.
Evet, şu anda 80 kişiyi geç.
83 gözüküyor. 80.
Saat 5. Başlayalım mı? Bekleyelim. Ses
Ahmet Bey
gelmedi.
mikrofonun kapalı.
Evet.
Evet, başlayabiliriz.
Başlıyorum o zaman.
Hı hı.
Herkese iyi günler. Türkiye Deniz Yarış Kulübü'nün düzenlediği pandemi dönemi seminerlerinden bir tanesinde daha beraberiz. Bugün değerli bir konuğumuz var. MICHEL DESJOYEAUX, Fransız yelkenci, offshore yelkencisi. Kendisi Fransa'dan katılıyor. Bize Vendee Globe yarışı şu anda devam etmekte olan ve filonun işte Güney Amerika'nın çoğunluğunu Güney Amerika ucunu dönüp artık Kuzey Atlantik'e yakınlaştığı yaklaşık 2 ay küsur zaman geçen bu son yarışın evveliyatını anlatacak. Kendisi bu yarışı 2 defa kazanan şu ana kadar tek sporcu dünyada. Kendisini konuk edeceğiz. Önce ben MICHEL DESJOYEAUX'un bir CV'sini sizle paylaşacağım. Daha sonra kendisinin hazırlamış olduğu kariyerini anlatan bir video var. Bu videoyu seyredeceğiz. Aşağı yukarı 9-10 dakika süresince. Daha sonra MICHEL DESJOYEAUX eksposisini yapacak, sunumunu yapacak. Ve sorular cevap bölümüne geçeceğiz. Şu ana kadar e-mail yoluyla bize soruları ileten arkadaşlar var. Teşekkür ederiz. Bu soruları MICHEL DESJOYEAUX'a ilettik.
Bana yollasana.
İlettik.
Bende var. Bir dakika.
İlettik. Daha sonra da soruları arzu eden el kaldırma şeyiyle oturumumuzu söz alacak ve sorusunu MICHEL DESJOYEAUX'a Fransızca ve İngilizce yöneltebilir. Eğer Türkçe sorarsa da ben memnuniyetle tercüme edeceğim ve aracı olacağım. Şimdi tekrardan hoş geldiniz. MICHEL DESJOYEAUX'u kısaca tanıtalım. 1965 yılında Fransa'nın Concarneau şehri, Atlantik Okyanusu kıyısında doğdu. Şu ana kadar yelken yarışçılığı kariyerinde 25 tane solo birincilikle dünyada birinci durumda. 25 adet yarışta birinciliği var solo yarışta. Lakabı Profesör. Figaro döneminden itibaren birinciliklere başlamış. Figaro sınıfıyla 1992, 1998, 2007 yıllarında şampiyonluğu var. Vendee Globe kategorisinde 2000-2001 ve 2008-2009 yılı yarışlarında birinciliği var. 2 tane birinciliği. Route du Rhum Fransa için önemli bir yarış. Atlantik geçişi bu yarışta 2002 yılında birinciliği var. Transat Anglaise dedikleri İngiliz transatı gene İngiltere'den başlayıp Amerika'da biten solo yarış 2004 yılında bir birinciliği var. Bu arada bilgi bilenlerimiz için de belki tekrar olacak. MICHEL DESJOYEAUX 2009 yılında İstanbul, Nice, Barcelona, Brest güzergahında yapılan İstanbul Europa Race'e de ekibi teknesiyle katıldı ve birinci geldi. O zaman da kendisiyle İstanbul'da tanışma fırsatı olmuştu. Tabii ki 2001, 2007 ve 2009 yıllarında yılın denizcisi ödülünü aldı Fransız Federasyonu tarafından. 2005 senesinde de Fransızların yüksek devlet nişanı Şövalye Légion d'Honneur unvanına sahip. Evet, bugün MICHEL DESJOYEAUX'u dinleyeceğiz. Welcome MICHEL.
Welcome everybody.
We are nice to meet you, and maybe we start with your video, presuming your career, and then we You start to talk. Okay.
Good.
Okay. Videoya başlayabiliriz.
L'analyse de philosophie. C'est pas juste on a participé, on a fini telle course, ben non, on a fait les choses un petit peu du plaisir.
Partant du principe qu'on réfléchit mieux à plusieurs, Michel DESJOYEAUX crée en 1999 Mère Agitée, première écurie de course au large en France.
Mère Agitée, on a cette particularité d'avoir un ou plusieurs skippers qui sont gérés sous notre entité Mère Agitée.
Si au départ, peu de gens auraient parié sur l'idée de faire cohabiter sous le même toit des marins concurrents, très vite, le projet se révèle très enrichissant. Le credo de Mère Agitée, mutualiser les moyens, travailler collectivement à terre pour être plus fort en mer.
Notre mission, le point de départ, c'est la recherche de financement. Une fois que le financement est trouvé, c'est la conception et le développement d'un bateau. Une fois que le bateau est construit, on met à l'eau, on l'optimise. Et bien sûr, pour arriver à faire tout ce travail-là, il faut qu'on travaille dans la gestion financière d'un projet. Les budgets deviennent de plus en plus importants. Donc, il faut rassurer nos investisseurs pour montrer qu'on fait une bonne gestion de l'argent. Après, il faut monter une équipe. Donc là, on a toutes les facettes des ressources humaines, donc recruter, structurer les équipes. Et une fois que le bateau navigue, après on fait de la gestion de projet classique, donc c'est de la logistique, c'est de l'administratif, tout ça pour permettre aux navigateurs d'être le plus libéré possible de toutes les contraintes administratives liées à son projet. En fait, quand j'ai créé Mère Agitée, le but du jeu, c'était surtout d'avoir une caisse à outils sur l'administratif, sur la technique, bien évidemment. Et puis, pour réussir à faire tout ça, il faut un petit peu d'humain, il faut des gens pour travailler. Et je ne pensais pas que j'allais utiliser autant de mon énergie à m'occuper de l'humain. C'était pas forcément mon point fort, j'y ai beaucoup travaillé depuis.
Et aujourd'hui, justement, MRJT, c'est tout ça, c'est la force technique, mais avec des valeurs humaines et avec une vraie implication de tout le monde. Donc moi, je suis la locomotive, j'assume, il n'y a pas de souci, je suis là pour ça. J'ai tendance à dire souvent qu'on n'a l'intérêt que par ce que l'on fait et pas par ce que l'on est. Tout seul, sorti du contexte ici, à part un joli palmarès, c'est tout, ça n'a pas d'intérêt, ça ne m'intéresse pas. Par contre, toutes les opportunités qu'on a de faire des belles choses, de se mettre en cause et d'apporter parfois notre savoir-faire, notre expérience, c'est ça qui est intéressant, c'est ça qui est sympa à faire.
Aile rigide, pièce spécifique pour les bateaux, passionné autant par la performance sportive que la technologie, Michel DESJOYEAUX a poussé la logique jusqu'au bout en créant une cellule de recherche et développement au sein de MRJT.
La partie principale.
Chef d'entreprise exigeant avec lui-même et avec les autres à terre, en mer, l'homme redevient un compétiteur redouté qui a coutume de dire que 80% du résultat d'une course se joue avant le départ. Une formule dont il fera la brillante démonstration lors de sa deuxième participation au Vendee Globe en 2008. Après 16 heures de course, Michel DESJOYEAUX rentre au port suite à des soucis techniques. Reparti bon dernier des Sables d'Olonne avec presque 2 jours de retard, il va marquer de son empreinte l'histoire de la course au large.
Je pense que certains se sont mis, certains même peut-être moi à certains moments, je dis tout, 50 000 de retard, je dis bon, allez. Pénard pour 2 mois et demi. Là.
On se dit qu'un écart aussi important, ça serait vachement difficile à faire. Mais on oublie qu'un tour du monde, c'est un tour du monde.
C'est énorme. C'est incroyable.
Et il n'a pas tenu compte des autres, il a fait sa route, il a continué son chemin.
Yes. Le prochain journaliste, ça va être, je sais pas, Vendee ou Volant, je sais pas.
C'est-à-dire qu'en fait, il y avait des bateaux autour de lui, mais voilà, ça n'a pas changé grand-chose. Il est revenu par derrière, il a fait coucou, au revoir. Voilà.
Encore aujourd'hui, pour la plupart de ses adversaires, son insolente réussite reste un mystère. Deux participations, 2 victoires, aucun autre marin n'a jamais réussi cet exploit. En réalisant le doublé sur le Vendee Globe, Michel DESJOYEAUX accomplit ce que beaucoup pensaient infaisable.
Ce qui est important, c'est la part de créativité. Le champion, c'est quelqu'un de créatif, c'est quelqu'un de visionnaire. C'est forcément un cheminement. On n'est pas visionnaire à la naissance. On se construit des personnes qui vous entourent, des gens qui vous motivent, des gens qui vous stimulent. Donc tout ça, je pense que voilà, il y a un aspect très social en fait dans le coureur au large.
Pendant très longtemps, au grand désespoir de Christian Lepape, je me contentais de bien faire ce que j'essayais de faire et de me satisfaire d'un résultat qui était honorable, même s'il n'était pas exceptionnel.
Un champion de course au large en solitaire a besoin de reconnaissance. C'est ce qui crée en fait sa motivation. C'est le besoin d'amour, en fait, d'amour social, il est exceptionnel chez le champion de course au large. Et à partir du moment où on reconnaît cette sensibilité exacerbée, on a trouvé un des moteurs, une des motivations principales de cette exception.
Okay.
Yes, Michel. I think, yeah, the first part was without the voiceover, but I think, okay, maybe you will complement it, so you can start your speech. La parole est à toi.
Merci, Michael. Hello, everybody. As the actuality right now is the Vendee Globe 2020, I would propose you, after those videos, which are a part of history, to go back through the history of this wonderful race. Here are the three first winners of the first edition. Was the winner was Salı, a good sailor who already competed in the box challenge, which was the 96 on the globe, and the third on the right side of the screen is DESJOYEAUX, maybe the first IMOCA closer to the one now. He won in oh, I made a mistake. Alain Gauthier, the one in the middle, won in 1992, and Christophe Auguin on the right won in 1996. Remember that 1996 was maybe the worst edition. Some of us remember the rescue of Tony Billimore, the rescue of Thierry Dubois, the disappearance of Jerry Roof. We found the boat a few months after in south coast of South America. Then on the top left, you can see PRB, which was my boat in 2000. What you can the main difference will be the first boat with a swinging keel for offshore racing. Still have ballast for inertial purpose, only on the front, on ballast at the back to trim the boat on the back for high condition in downwind, as you can have in South Ocean. And also the beginning of protection of the cockpit, but it was a little protection at this time. At the aft of the cockpit, you see a ball, which is the satellite transmission system we had at this time, which was something like the beginning of internet. The radars, and you can also the windward radar to go out of the water. This was made for in response to what's happened in 1996 when Isabelle Autissier, the previous PR skipper, had to cancel his race in South Africa because she broke a rudder and she was not able to repair or to replace. And also, when you are able to lift one rudder, you reduce the unused drag because only one rudder is enough. On this boat, we also increased the safety of the sailor. It was already mandatory to have 5 bulkheads, watertight bulkheads in the boat. The canting keel was also a good way to recover the boat in the right way, the deck in the upper situation. And this boat had a very big coach roof to increase the volume of the boat upside, to increase the volume in the water when the boat is upside down. You have to understand that when I built this boat, I was the skipper after Isabelle Autissier, who lost her boat in the South Ocean during the Box Challenge 1998, and the boat had a very flat deck, and the boat stayed upside down, even with a canting keel. So all my goal on with my team and with the boat designer, which was Pascal Konuk, was to increase the safety of the boat, and not only and for sure you can understand that sometimes when you increase the safety, you lose performance because you will add weight, you will put more weight up on the boat. But long race is where there is not the sailors of this. Then if you increase the safety of your boat, then you will increase a lot and much more than what you lose in terms of strict performance of the boat. You will increase your capacity to press the boat, to push hard the boat, sailing fast, including in very high wind. I remember that when I arrived in the South Ocean in 2000, at the beginning of December, after 1 month of race, the first storm I had, I remember that during the night I had 63 knots of wind, and at the morning when the daylight came back, I put my camera on and I start to record that, and I said, okay, we arrive in the South Ocean. It's the first time we have a good storm. The wind was the maximum I saw, but maybe more while I was sleeping. The maximum wind I saw was 63, and now it's okay. It slowed down a lot, and the weather is good. And I turned to the displays, to the display in the chart table, and I saw, oh no, and I laugh. Oh no, there is still 57 knots of wind. So you can imagine that after a full night of heavy weather, very heavy weather, then when the wind slowed down a little, you can appreciate that you feel that it slowed down a lot. A few hours after, I called to my press officer and asked him if he could ask to Isabelle Autissier what was the condition, the wind strength she had as a reference to lower completely the mainsail when she sailed in those conditions. And a few hours after, he told me that the reference she used was 45 knots of wind to completely lower the mainsail. And with 63 knots of wind, I kept the mainsail with 3 reef, dropping that continued. All those way to press the boat are a big part of how we made the boat on the race faster and faster, more or less each edition. This boat, PRB, is also the one who won in 2004, 2005 with Vincent Rioux as a skipper. He did change a few things on the boat, the ballast tanks in the boat, the mast. He put a lighter mast, so he was able to save weight on the keel. And he removed a lot of things which was not useful. He changed the helm system, which was not very reliable, and decrease the weight of the number of sails and simplify the boat as much as possible. It was our second Vendee Globe, so we had a lot more of experience. Vincent Rioux was in my team. He was the boat captain with me for my first Vendee Globe. Then on the right side of the screen, you can see Foncia, which is the one, the Fard yacht design boat I had for 2008, 2009. This boat, the biggest evolution was here the cockpit is closed with a hard top, but not covered full the cockpit. This is the first boat with only 4 winches in the cockpit. PRB, I had 7, 6 in the cockpit and 1 on the mast. And you will appreciate also that we've got big dagger bores on the sides for upwind condition. Regarding to Geodis, which was very light and very light keel, very light righting moment, IMOCA rule also take experience from what's happened in 1996, because a lot of the boats were so light that they had a very small righting moment. So the boats were not very safe in high condition. That's why Isabelle Otichi, for example, lose her boat. But also because Gereof stayed upside down, the boat capsized, even with the mast broken. And since my boat and after Foncia in 2008, we increased a lot the righting moment of the boat by increase the weight of the bulb, also increase the weight of the mast, which is what you can find here on the column of the height of the mast. You can see that more or less each edition, except the second one, we saved days of race around the world, more or less 1 day per year, so 4 days each edition. The 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th column is the maximum distance of miles per 24 hours. And you see that for the moment in 2020, it's not faster than 2012 and 2016, where we gain a lot of time. You can see that the beam didn't change a lot, especially since 2016, because it's mandatory not to go over 5.8 meters. And also the draft of the boat is now limited since 2000 with my PRB, as it's a thin keel, which was made in carbon or welded keel. Now it's a solid stainless steel keel. The thin keel only is more or less 1 ton, and the bulb goes from 2.8 to 3.5 tons. You can see that we save a lot of weight during the 5-6 first edition. And the last edition, now the boats are heavier than before, because we increase a lot the size of the foils, so the weight of the foils. For example, in 2012, François Gabard had just 2 dagger boards. Each one was 60 kilos, straight dagger boards. Now the foils are much more bigger. We will speak about that later. And the weight of one foil is more than 2,050 kilos for the biggest foil they have on those boats. You can also see that the ballast was a big alternative to balance the boat. And the mast sail area didn't change a lot, at least. You remember the big round curve of mainsails, very, very wide, very, very big. And now because we go faster, we need more high aspect ratio. So we don't have the right to increase the mast height more than 27.3 meter, which is the one design mast. But also we don't make bigger sails because we need more efficiency, aerodynamic efficiency. So we need to make narrower sails. Also, the number of sails on board decrease because now it's mandatory, only 9 sails, including the storm jib. In 2008, I had 13 sails on board, including 3 spinnakers, 1 big one and 2 heavy one. This year, in this edition in 2008, Hugo Boss had 18 sails on board. So it's completely incredible. The 2 last columns are the number of participants and the number of boats who are finishing. And you can see that for the moment, the 221 edition currently racing would be for the moment the much better edition in terms of finisher for the race. It's a number which is interesting. For me, it's not especially regarding to one design parts, which are the keel and keel system and the mast, but also because this is the 9th edition and we improved a lot across all the precedent edition, and also because the team of around each boat are bigger and bigger, and they all have in their team 1 or 2 guys who already worked on previous races edition. So we increase a lot the knowledge of any team racing actually. For this, here you can see a bagage superior on left, which was the winner in 1992. You can see all the winches in the cockpit, including winches around the mast base for the foredeck mast. You can see spinnaker pools, which is definitely not used since 1996. Here the very small bowsprit because the boom for the aft mast was longer than the transom of the boat. He had already a big coach roof with big windows, but he needed to go to the foot of the mast, the main mast, to take the reef and certainly to lower mainsail and so on. And now this is Malaysia, which was previously Gitana 16, I think. Malaysia Boris Herman Yacht Club de Monaco boat. You see only 4 winches on all the ropes arriving from the foredeck, furling lines for the jibs, tack line on all the lines from the mast and from the boom, halyards, reef line, downfucker to take the tack of the mainsail for the reef. And for sure, at the back, all the sheets, runners, mainsail, traveler, and so on. And now you do only that with 4 winches. The main difference between those 2 boats for all the deck gears is the weight you save and also the money you save and the capacity for the skipper to manage more or less 90% of the maneuvering and trimming the boat from the cockpit, completely covered under this coach roof, completely waterproof. There is only a little of water going from the line here on after the cockpit for sure, but most of the time he can sail and trim his sail and survey his boat, as you see his eyes watching the sails up. Completely dry, even without dry suit or maybe not boots. This is a very good way to save energy from the skipper, not to have salt in the eyes, not to have salt on your skin, which is the worst you can imagine for a long distance race with those boats where we don't have fresh water as we want to get shower. So our most enemy is the salt we can have on our body. So those new cockpits are very helpful for that and very efficient. At least you have to understand also that maybe 95% of the time you don't drive the boat. This is the automatic pilot who drive the boat, and those automatic pilots improve a lot. I will speak about that a bit later. To save weight and to lower the weight, because the IMOCA is the rule of stability. You can imagine that each time you lower the weight of the boat and you save weight in the mast, then you will save a lot of weight in the keel, and especially in the keel bulb. When you save 1 kilo in the mast, you will save 5 kilos in the bulb. So it means that for 1 kilo saved in the mast, you save 6 kilo on the boat, which is a huge level arm to increase the performance of the boat. That's also why the mast is the lightest and the lower safety factor part of the boat, because it's where we try to save the weight as much as possible, because we save a lot of weight for the whole boat. This is a Corum mast bulkhead. On the left side, you see all the sheaves and sheave box you can see on the fully equipped on the right. And in the lower part, the round part, metallical part, is the lower bearing of the keel, of the forward part of the keel. We save a lot of weight in those boats since 4 or 5 editions, because we use carbon for everything, including the main parts of the structure, especially, for example, here, the keel bearing. The load on the side on this bearing is more or less 140 tons from side to side when the hydraulic ram pushes. You can see here the eye of the cylinder, the hydraulic ram. Then the keel will go in this bearing. There is another one in the back of the picture there. And then the keel ram will push on the keel from side to side. Also to save weight, but not so much. All the boat now is computed by finite element analysis. Here is a picture, a screenshot of the hull of Corum, and you can see that you can imagine all where the frame are. Here should be a bulkhead, another bulkhead here, bulkhead here, bulkhead here, bulkhead here, which is in front of the keel, the foil box. The foil box should be somewhere there. This is the mast bulkhead and the forward keel bulkhead. You see the keel shape, the hole here. This is a single skin zone. And all the red are the middle of the panel, where all the blue are the middle of the longitudinal girder. You will see other pictures. To be able to optimize the weight of such a whole body, it's made with computation. All the forward part is now foam instead of honeycomb. Only the back and the sidewall are honeycomb. This is the drawing of the Corum l'Épargne. Sorry. You can see the difference of color, different density of the foam we used, especially under the bulkheads and under the longitudinals, which are between each bulkhead. And you see that we have honeycomb only at the back, which will be, I think, for the next generation completely abandoned, because you will see after when we will speak about the foils that this part of the boat is the one who keep the boat online because of the foil pushing very hard up there. And here the curve of foam here is for the transom where there is the mainsail track. You can see, this is the patchwork of the foam. Each part is different density of foam from 80 kilos per cubic meter to 130 kilos. There are 3 or 4 different density used for the hull. Here is the whole outer skin, the black water part, which is in the mold during the building. And now you can see at the picture how they glue step by step different part of foam in the whole skin. Here is the box for the lower bearing of the foil case. During the building we made in Meragite, you can see here the hull, some of the bulkheads, including the mast bulkhead. No, the mast bulkhead is not in the boat at this moment. This is the forward foil box. And here in the bottom of the hull, you see the longitudinals, which are dividing each panel to what is coming from the FAA analysis to optimize number of skin, orientation of carbon fiber skin layers in all the zone, as you can see outside here. While the boat is structured, then we can remove it from the mold and continue to work on the boat. Before to put the deck on, we try to put everything we can in the boat, especially heavy parts, which is here the engine. The engine is mandatory to help a rescue of someone. We try to position and to make the fittings of everything. You can see here the water maker, which is more or less mandatory because we save like that a lot of weight at the start. You can see here the ballast tanks on the side. This is the mast bulkhead. You can see here the hole for the ram, the hydraulic ram on this side. So this is the kill box where the kill head will come, and this is water. And all the sheaves you saw a few slides before are glued on this bulkhead. Here is the ram box for the mechanical safety ram box. Like that, if you have an issue with the hydraulic or power, then you can fix. You can lock the kill at the middle with a mechanical system. You can see that everything is with carbon when we have the capacity. Here is the vent, the event of the water ballast tanks to prevent overflow, to let the air going out of the ballast, and will flow in the kill box, which is not watertight because the water goes around the kill under the hull. This is the last day before gluing the deck on the hull, and you can see that the connection between hull and deck is more or less at the middle half of the side wall of the boat. This was made because it's the best place to put the extra weight of the connection between the top and the bottom. And also with this shape of bulkhead, then you can, if you close at the shear line as usual, then you would need to have the bulkhead like this. Otherwise, you can't close the deck. By making the connection in the middle and by making those those bulkhead like this on the deck narrower, shorter, then you save a lot of weight because this line is shorter than if we go wider, go on this other side on joining again. So we save weight because we decrease the area of this part of the deck, and also we decrease the drag of the hull, the aero drag of the hull, which becomes something important, not as much as the America's Cup boats or AC 75 or AC 50, like we saw in Bermuda. But it becomes to be something important, including aero drag, but also waves drag when the boat dives in the boat. Here you can see in the J2 bulkhead, this is the chain plate. It's a full carbon part included in the bulkhead when we built it. And we just make a hole. We put a solid sheave in titanium to avoid how do you call that, abrasion, and then you save a lot of weight. You can see also here the 2 sheaves for the J3 purchase, 3-for-1 purchase, the tack line of the J3, small jib. That's it. Then when we launch the boat, and we will see other boats after, don't worry, nice pictures. What we carry with us in the boat, this is the preparation for the previous Vendee Globe. You can see toilet paper, you can see food, you can see gas for the cooking, you can see cover not to be cold. You can see here, I don't know how to call that in English or at least in Turkish, which is the, in French we say a pouf, which is a bag of polystyrene balls in which you jump, in which you sleep. This has the advantage to be shaped on your body, whatever you want to do, be more as a seat or light. You can see a cushion for the one who carry one. And also you can see different colors of bags for safety part in red. I don't remember what is green, but spare parts, tools, clothes for three months of race, and for sure a lot of food which will be stored in those bags, I think. And something very important to save your skin, especially your hands in the south, is not toilet paper, but paper to dry your skin after each maneuvering when you have salted water on your skin. Here is the preparation of the food, and you see on different kind of bags like this one, a number which is the number of day. Each bag is the food for one day as a daily pocket, in which you can have dry food, freeze-dry food mainly, but also whatever you want. Because you've got a water maker on board, you have a big advantage to carry freeze-dry foods. Then you will prepare them just before to have lunch and dinner. Now I think that this year most of the very high competitor carried between 70 and 75 days of food, but we already started to do like this with a daily bag in 2001 when I made my first Vendee Globe. We divided the Vendee Globe course in three configuration: high temperature condition around the equator lines, medium condition, and on cold condition in the south. Today, ashore, you will eat more or less 2,000 calories a day. For the coldest condition, we carry between 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day, which is more or less 3.5 more than what we used to eat ashore. This is made to fight against cold, for sure. We move a lot and we need to be tonic to stay on the boat. So it also uses a lot of calorie. We need to maneuver in the boat, to make the maneuver of the boat. So for sure, we have to turn the handles and to move the sails and to move the gears in the boat. And also, certainly, we consume a lot of food because of the stress of the condition to be far from everything, far from every shore. That's why we need to have those 6,000 to 7,000 calories for the south. Under the equator, between the two tropics, we had around 4,000 cal a day. And one of the questions we could have now is because they are slower than 4 years ago. I think that some of them will have not a full daily bag of food until the finish line. So for sure, when sometimes you are not very hungry, you don't eat all, then instead of throwing away what you don't eat, you keep them, and then they will be happy to have those extra to finish the race. Maybe it will not be very well balanced in terms of food, but it will be enough to finish the race. And then when they will arrive at shore, they will have a full check with medical survey, and they will be able to balance correctly and to eat better food also. And maybe a red wine and a good French cheese we can appreciate. Also, we have a very big box for medicine, and there we have a medical assistance that we can require. They have the same list as what we have on board, and we are trained to sue ourselves to make any prescription of medics. So we are very how do you say that? We have the knowledge, and also now with the satellite communication, it's much more easy to discuss with a medic, a doctor from where we are. Also in France, there is a very big office with lots of doctors who used to help seamen at sea, not especially for the sailors or racers, but also for all the ones who are on fishing boats, commercial boats, passenger ship. So they used to make an analysis of what you have by phone or help with a picture you can send when you have skin or when you have been hurted. About electronics. What we have on board. This is electronic I had in Foncia in 2008. More or less everything is here. You've got energy dispatching system with all the switch. You've got here the displays. Here is true wind speed, true wind angle, true wind direction, course, boat speed, and this is a course overground from the GPS. GPS, VHF, SATCOM C, which is a telex. This was the AIS system. You can see here the headbird, the camera. This is the radar. This is the radar SART, which is a transponder radar. This is the antenna for the autopilot remote that I still have on instead of my watch on my arm. Those two are not electronics. They are the pressure in the hydraulic kill ram on each side. So you can see one is at 0 and the other one is more or less at 200 bars. Iridium satellites, SATCOM Fleet 77 I had, and all those gears on wires you can have here. And this is more or less all what I had. Here is the box for the noise reduction helmet that you can use when the boat is very noisy and fast, especially downwind, to sleep or to have a good discussion with the shore, or to hear music without the noise of the boat. This picture is inside Corom l'Épargne, just built, launched in May 2020. And you can see here only 80% of the electronics. You can see the SATCOM, you can see some of wires and so on and so on and so on. This is the main difference between the previous edition on the one now, because the mast on the foils require a lot of data to survey them, not to break them. You still have optic fibers in the foils. You have load pin for the rig and the load sensor in different place of the rig, not to break it, because those one design masts were made in 2004 for the boats, which were only 25 ton-meter as writing moment. And now with the foil, when the boat is flying foil, none of those boats are now up to 45 ton-meter, which is more or less 2 times stronger than higher than 6 years ago. So we need to make a survey of the mast anytime with sensor, with alarms on the computer, and also all the data are registered full time, and they could be, I'm not sure they all made, but they could transmit those data in real time. These boats now consume 2 times more electricity than SMA, which is our boat, which is now Banque Populaire, right now racing with Clarisse Kremer. So all those gears, electronics increase a lot the consumption of the boat. So the necessity to carry fuel or using the hydro generators. Also the automatic pilots improve a lot since the previous boat. We all have a 3D sensor, which is very accurate with optic fibers, which is more or less 33,000 euros just the box, just the sensor. And it's the main change of the automatic pilot. Small 3D sensor we used before. Also, the automatic pilots software increase a lot with different modes to be able to follow the waves, to follow the wind, to follow a hill angle. The skipper and the skipper can choose exactly what he wants, and he can modify the ratio of all the parameters while he's racing, while he's sailing. Down under here, you can see the engine. We all have lithium-ion or lithium polyphosphate batteries, no more lead batteries, too heavy. And now one of the goals are the foil. This is you a winner in 2016, 4 years ago, with those Dalif foil, and you see the kill which is counted. To try to help you to understand how it works. At the beginning, you have a boat floating with Archimede, with the volume here of the boat heeling. You've got the water ballast pushing down. You've got the kill fin, which is already 1 ton, plus the bulb pushing down, which make a righting moment, including righting moment from the ballast. And to make the boat heeling, then you have the side force coming from the sails, which mean a heeling moment. Since 2014, the righting moment is limited at 25 degrees of heel, more or less what you have here at the picture. The righting moment is limited, so you can't make a boat with heavier bulb to try to go faster. Then the boat designers said, okay, we can't increase the power of the boat by putting more lead here. Then we will do something that is not in the rule in terms of limit of the righting moment. You can understand that the righting moment is the capacity to, if you increase the righting moment, then you can increase the heeling moment coming from the sails. So if you want to go faster, you can't increase this one, so you can't increase this one. If you put a foil on the side of the boat, then you will be able to push more or less the whole force addition of those 3 parts will push up. The weight of the whole boat should be somewhere here. So there is a righting moment coming from the foil due to the speed of the boat. And you see that this is something close to what you have here. There is the shaft, the elbow, and the tip. You have to understand that the weight of the boat is still when you are sailing. So when you have the ballast, when you have stacking all the gears in the boat, which is more or less 500 kilos of stacking, food, safety, spare tools, and so on, plus the sails for 4,000 kilos also. Then you have a righting moment, which is impressive already. But the weight when you are sailing and when you are well trained, the boat weight is constant. Sorry, but the wind, because the wind is not constant, this force is not constant. The healing force on the healing moment coming from the sails is not constant. So with such a foil, you can manage, if you drift a lot, then you will push on this one. If you go more or less downwind, you don't have a big side force and more forward force, so you will fly on this side, on this side. And if you go further and you fly too high, at the moment it limits the area in the water pushing you up, then you will start to go higher and higher and higher. All the story now is to know how do you develop a new kind of foil, and how do you manage the ratio between the force from the shaft and the force from the tip and the force from the elbow. And then you can see now this is also Coron. You can see I'm not sure it's exactly the same foil he has, but very close. With a curved shaft means that when you put the foil out like it is now, you've got the tip which will take the load of side force coming from the sails. And when you fly fast, then you have the elbow. And if you fly too high, then the boat will go down and it will regulate the height of the submersive part of boiling water. Here with this picture coming from the CAO software, which is CATIA, Dassault System 3D Experience, you can see that this picture is with a big gennaker. You can see here in blue the tube, what we call jockey pool, which is a pool fixed on the aft part of the deck to open the sail. Instead of making a big curve, then you can open the angle of incidence of the foil, including making the bottom flatter to go for higher speed. Here is the J3 unfurled, which is a double-head configuration with the mainsail here. And in some condition, not always, but including in solo racing, they start to use triple-head configuration with gennaker, J2, J3, plus the mainsail, which require a lot of survey to be fine-tuned. Otherwise, you don't go faster, but you go slower because you increase the drag if the sails are not well trimmed. Also, to go faster, we try to reduce drag. Drag in the air, what we put tape on the side. You can see here the propeller on the propeller, which is now at the back of the boat, because when you heel with the boat, then the propeller will go out of the water, then you will decrease the drag in the water. It's also why on this boat the rudder is with small bumps there to reduce the drag of the rudder with high incidence angle. Here are some pictures also from Coron. You can imagine that this is the width of the one design rig, which is 11 meters when the boat is only 5.8 meters due to the rule. And the two foils deployed, the boat is 14 meters wide or 18 meters long. So it becomes very big. See that the curve on very, very long. When you see those two other pictures, you can realize the size of the picture, especially this one. Sorry, I have to move the window of the zoom. You see one guy which is the same size as me, Gabi, which is 1.8 meter, and you see the big foil. Only one, more or less, from the top of the foil to the blue tape here is in the water when the foil is completely full out. Here is linked out, actually third or fourth in the race. You can see the foil. Here is the shaft in the other way, to curve like this. And you see that the boat flies only on this, not so small, but small part of the tip. And you can see here the drag and the dip in the water here means that the kill fin, even if it's very narrow here, the kill fin is pushed a lot. Another picture I will show you here, you can see that the kill is not at full angle of the capacity of the system, which is 38 degrees. If you put the kill completely at the maximum heeling angle, then you will lift too much the boat, and for sure you lift the boat up, but also you reduce the righting moment, and because you introduce heeling moment with the kill fin in the water going fast. This is Charal. This is the first new generation boat launched with his first foils, and you see this really separated part, shaft, elbow area, tip, and the small fin, very small. And you see the difference between his new foil he tested this year, and he started with. And when you see this boat flying, it's you see it's a windy day, and there are waves, and you can see that the foil, all the tip, push the boat up from the water, is very close to the water level, and certainly in some waves it goes out of the water, completely breaking the circulation of water around the foil, and the boat goes down. And you can also see that they change the shape of the bow here, especially its fin one, to have the maximum length of waterline the boat is floating in light air. And now they made a very much more fat bow to decrease the slowdown effect when the boat fall down from this foil in the water and make a nosedive, which is very nervous. You can imagine that when you go from 30, 35 knots to 10 knots because you nosedive, then everything can help you to keep the bow out of the water is a good issue. This is the Occitan, which is the only one who have the foils coming from very high on the hull. And you see this very fat and very short bow, not especially designed as before, because they already planned to have this part as a ski to push on the water and to keep the bow of the boat out of the water. Here you see exactly what I spoke about the keel. This is Arkea Paprec with his first generation of foil, and then you understand what I spoke about. This area of the hull is maintaining fast in high waves, will take all the bang, bang, bang, bang of the waves. So I think that the next generation, this part will be stronger and stronger than we had before. And a nice shot of the start of this Vendee Globe, maybe you follow it on internet, where you can see that for the same wind condition, there are some with a fractional jib and some of them with code 0 at masthead code 0. This situation maybe is fast and good, but it pushed a lot on the mast and on the longer part of the mast, you imagine, because they all have the same length of mast. So a part of the goal now is to manage the sail set, because you just have 7 sails to play with for the foredeck. Because to go to 9, you've got a mainsail on the storm jib. So J3, J2, which is on the fixed forestay, you don't have the right to remove it. On all the one here, the front sails from those directional height to the top of mast. You have 5 sails for that, so you have to choose. Some of them don't have any more spinnaker because they prefer gennaker fast enough to go down. To complete a bit of what's happened during the race, here is a picture of all the tracks, the rectangle you can see, track from satellite to analyze the iceberg in the South Ocean. And here in black is the geographical zone, which is mandatory for the sailors to avoid the ices. I found it was interesting to see what happened, and I think that the color is the temperature of the water. Here is the classification of this morning at 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock UTC. And the skipper, the distance to the first, the distance in 24 hours. Here, the bonification, the number of hours they have, 3 of them have for Kevin Escoffier, PRB's yacht rescue. And here is an unofficial classification we could have if we stop the race today. Then it would be Mr. Boris Herman in Malaysia, the Club de Monaco Sea Explorer boat, would be the leader. Yannick Destaven should be second, and Jean Le Cam would also win 3 places. I think that I said a lot of what I would wanted to show you. What I propose you now is to continue with question and answer.
Okay, Alican. We can start with the questions we had in email, and then the participants can ask questions if they want.
Okay. This morning, Lucian gave me a few questions already sent it by mail. Why Corum dismasted? Corum dismasted, he was one reef with the fractional sail, but at the on the fraction, so the wire to stand the cable to the top of the mast. He was downwind, and it was during the night or the morning, and he doesn't know what's happened. With the data recorded, they saw that the mast turned to turn, because it's a wing mast turning on itself. The wing mast turned to 60 degrees, which is more or less 2 times that what you can have when you pull on the ropes to turn the mast. So for the moment, they don't know what's happened exactly and why. What is sure is what I already said today, is that this mast was not made for the foils. And I think that the power of the foils increased a lot, the righting moment, so the stress on the mast. So for the moment, I don't know. What are you going to change on Corum IMOCA for the next races after the lesson you learned in the Vendee 2020-21. I can't tell you what they will do because I was only the builder of the boat. I'm not in a part of the team. For sure, they will have learned a lot, even if it was already not only 10 days of race, which is not a lot, but that's it. The boat arrived in France already and is already in the yard to make the checkup. And for sure, they will modify certain things and make a new mast and replace the sails they lost and so on. I have read somewhere, it was an article with Le Cam, keep trying to get closer to Escoffier, that changing tack take almost 1 hour for an IMOCA boat. Could you please tell us the tacking procedure of an IMOCA roughly and explain?
Let me do the traduction of these questions. Cüneyt Işıngör şunu sormuş. Jean-Luc Cam yardıma gittiği zaman kavança sürelerinden bahsetti. IMOCA teknelerinde kavança atmak neden 1 saat sürüyor? Zorlukları nelerdir? Yes, the difficulties of the jibe and why it takes about 1 hour was the question. Huh?
In fact, when you are alone, you have to do everything. First, when you have to tack or to jibe, you prepare the deck, you prepare the counter sheet, you open the mast rotation, you prepare the pedestal, you have to put down the foil, the windward foil down in the water, because after you will not be able to, or it will be much harder. You have to put the windward rudder in the water. Then after you go in the boat, you take care about the stacking, moving the sails, which are inside, moving all the bags, food, sails, everything, the ballast if you have ballast. Then after you go out and you make the boat tacking, runners, front sail, vong for the mainsail, keel. After that, you have to lift the windward foil, windward rudder, finish to trim, checking the ballast, and so on. More or less, all that takes maybe not an hour all time, but when the boat is moving a lot in the waves, going fast, which is when you tack, then it means that you were close to upwind. Then in the night, it can spend 1 hour, yes, for sure. In light condition, when you don't have to move all the weight in the boat, or you know that you will just tack for a few minutes because of a gust or anything, then you can tack in less than 10 minutes for sure. Also, when Le Cam arrived on Kevin Escoffier to rescue him, he didn't prepare enough before to arrive on the position. The propeller is sealed with lead seal. And you need to, there is a procedure when the race committee require you go to help someone. You need to take a picture, to send it to the race committee, to remove the seal, to take the picture, to not position and so on, and to remove the security system you put on the shaft, not to break the seal by accident. And he didn't prepare this before to arrive. So when he arrived on Kevin Escoffier's position, he had to make this inside the boat. And when he finished that, he didn't see anymore Kevin Escoffier. That's why he spent a few hours to slow down and to prepare the boat. It was 40 knots of wind, and I think that the waves was something like 4 or 5 meters high. So it was not very smooth condition to make a rescue when you are alone on a 60 feet boat. That's it.
Okay, the next group of questions that are coming from a woman sailor, Yasemin Akil. She asked, I think, 5 questions. The first one is, yes, you read in English, I translate in Turkish. Damian Segen'i soruyor Yasemin Akil. Damian Segen, filoda paralimpik sporcu. Yani doğuştan bir eli engelli, bir eli yok. Ve çok başarılı bir yarış götürüyor. Şu anda 4 veya 5. sırada. Yasemin Akil, Damian Segen'in kazanma şansı var mı? Bir de kullandığı gözlükler işe yarıyor mu diye bir soru sormuş. Yes.
Damien Seguin is making something exceptional. You have to understand that he just have one hand. The second one is cut somewhere there. He just have a little tool here, but not so much. They made an adaptation for his arm on the winch pedestal for him to be able to push with this arm on the pedestal, not to pull but to push. So it's better, but a winch handle at least. I'm not sure he has chance to win, but because those around, at least he has a boat from 2008. The boat was named DCNS at his birth. He optimized a lot, making lighter on smaller dagger boards, saving weight everywhere in the boat. But he's fast as the boats in front of him, including the one who have voids but with problems like a PVR or linked out. But he's the leader of the non-foiler boats on this race, and he could keep this position. I'm very impressed by what he does. This guy has a very nice story. He was born like this without this hand. And when he was born, his parents didn't know before that he would have this issue. And the day he birthed, his father saw the situation and he left the hospital. He take tissue to run his own hand, try to make cycling, try to climb mountains, try to make different sports where you are sure that you will need your 2 hands. And then he saw that it was possible. And then he came back to the hospital and he said to his wife, don't worry, darling, our son will be able to do everything he will want, and we will help him for that. And I think it's a very nice lessons of life in this actual world where everything is the fault of someone else. This guy is fighting for him, and he does it very well. So it's quite impressive. You asked if the glasses he used could help. I don't know exactly the glasses he uses. I think it's the one with who check the activity of the eyes. You when you're sleeping or not. It helped him because he didn't sail a lot in single-handed situation before. He never made the Figaro race. He never made the mini transat. He didn't sail a lot single-handed sailing. So this could help him, but I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what is the product here, so I'm not very efficient to
Okay, thank you. I will translate the second question of Yasemin in Turkish. Yasemin Hanım şunu sormuş. Yarışın psikolojisiyle ilgili soru soruyor Michel DESJOYEAUX. Özellikle başta gidenlerin psikolojisi, tabii bu günlük yapılan yayınlarda müsabıkların psikolojisini görebiliyorsunuz. İniş çıkış halinde. Bu konuda bir önerisi var mı diyor. Do you have any suggestions to get up the psychology of the competitors, especially who came in the first 10? I mean.
I think that most of the competitors, and especially the one in the leading position in the top 5, they are competitors. We spoke about Damien Seguin, who won gold medals in the Paralympic Games, who won the France coast race in small trimaran, who is really a competitor, always pushing hard and so on. Even if it is his first participation on this Vendee, and it's the same for Charlie Dalin, it's the same for Boris Herman. They are all racers with really this kind of way of thinking. For sure, someone for me with the better position for that is Charlie Dalin, who made a lot of time the Figaro race. He finished on the podium for the 5 last participation he had. But they are all used to be competitors and to fight. And I think it's easier to have this situation now in the Atlantic. Coming back home, they know that they will arrive in 10 or 11 days on the finish line, and they can push very hard. They just have to go for it. I think that if this situation has been occurred in the South Ocean, especially in the middle of the Indian Ocean and then Pacific, I think that it would not have those close position between all the leaders. That's perfect for us to see this race and to follow what's happened and to see if they're able to push the boat or not. And if they don't want to make a competition while they are racing, they have not to make this competition. For sure, it's wonderful for everybody to have this, and I hope that the first on the finish line will be the first of the race, due to the bonification, the hours of bonification 3 of them have. I hope it will not change the ranking for sure, but not the ranking for the first one. It would be too difficult, including for the one who would become the winner of the race, that those bonification changed the full winner after jury. But then the race has to go on, and I think that it could be today. It could be Mr. Boris Herman, the new the right leader, because we see that he pushed the boat very hard since a few days. He was not very efficient in the South Ocean, but he was cool and not very fast for sure, but slower than his boat. Good, but he made the job, and now he's in the leaders and is able to go very fast. We saw sometimes at 22 knots, 23 knots on average during few hours. So he's pushing the boat. It means that the boat is could be at 100% ready for the last 10 days.
Okay, the third questions I translate, Michel, in Turkish. Şunu soruyor, çok gövdeli mod 70 fit teknelerde yarıştınız, trimaranlar. Jules Verne Trofei'ye katılıp bir rekor kırmayı düşünüyor musunuz? Yes.
There is a small mistake in the question, because the Jules Verne is not the single, the solo record around. I think that what I never sailed on the ultimate 30 meters boat in the big waves, but I sail a lot with Géant, which is a bit smaller than the Mod 70, only 60 feet. And I'm not sure I would be very confident in the South Ocean with a multi-hull, a too small multi-hull solo, including a big one also. It's not for me. I'm very impressed by what they could do and what François Gabard made the last time when he was at least one or 2 days from the full crew record. When you speak with Loïc Perron, which is maybe the most experienced sailor in the world about multi-hulls, he says that Mod 70 and Orma at least would have been too small to sail in the South Ocean, and I'm quite confident that we can follow what he thinks. And we see that there is the Jules Verne now attempt with Gitana, which is the head of Francis Joyon. Maybe we can, or you can follow that on internet. Next question.
Okay.
What
the next one is maybe I pass because we have limited time and we should allow time the others also. The fourth question is question of Yasemin. Yasemin'in bir sorusunu geçiyoruz. Zaman sıkışıklığımız var. Şunu soruyor. Offshore sınıf açılacak önümüzdeki olimpiyatlar için. Michel DESJOYEAUX bu konuda ne düşünüyor? The question about this offshore in the Olympics game. What do you think?
Yeah. It should be very interesting because one issue for the television program and the broadcast worldwide during the Olympic Games is while the country of the Olympics is sleeping, the television on the other side of the earth had nothing to show. If we make this offshore competition, which should be non-stop during 3 days and nights for sure, then it could be the lonely competition long enough to be followed over the world 24 hours a day, because this race would be three times 24 hours. Then it should be a very nice spot on sailing and offshore sailing, which is a French specialty. So it's nice for us, and it's nice for our sport over the world to be more shown at the TV. Now it's very easy to put cameras, come to the question just upon to have a video feed 24 hours a day during those 3 or 4 days of race for this Olympic offshore class in the Olympics. So it could be nice. Why not? And also to have one woman and one guy on the same boat is also a good signal for the world.
Okay. Then we have other questions sent by mail and also on our Q&A screen. Evet, başka sorular da var. Şimdi onları da ben sırayla Michel DESJOYEAUX'a soracağım. Bir beyefendi, Erman Bey galiba, baterilerle ilgili bir soru sormuş. Elektrik enerji yönetimi nasıl yapıyorsunuz diye. The question is about the batteries during the race. How really you manage the power management? How you make the direction of the power management, because it looks that there's a lot of consumption of energy on the actual IMOCA boats with all the electronics and the the tips, the shaft, and etc. So the question was that.
About the energy, the engine, which is mandatory because you need to have the capacity to go during 5 hours at 6 knots, I think, with your own engine. This engine with a propeller, but the propeller is sealed, as I spoke before, about Jean Le Cam. And the energy is can be made with this engine without using the propeller, for sure. And also now it's completely became standard on those boats, which is the hydro generator. What is very interesting is the main consumption of energy is for the automatic pilot, which run 95% of the time, more or less. And you can understand that the higher speed you go, the highest energy you need to push the helm. For sure, if there is 5 knots of wind and you go at 5 knots, then the automatic pilot doesn't use a lot of electricity. When you are at 20, 25, 30 knots, then the pilot need to move a lot and to push hard. Then the hydro generator, which is a propeller in the water, will produce a lot of electricity and very easy, because the fastest you go, the more it will produce without increasing the drag of this system. So it's very efficient. It's now very reliable. They have one on each side of the transom, and they can emerge one or the other depending on which tack they are sailing. And it's something completely classic now. The other big consumption is the computer on the screen. You can switch off the screen when you don't work at the chart table, but also all the electronics you saw on the boats for instrument and data and sensor everywhere you have in the boat. For sure, they use a lot of energy. If you have an issue with your production of electricity, then you will switch off a lot of those systems, except the automatic pilot, which is more or less mandatory. They also have now a WhatsApp with the race direction and with their team, with which they can discuss when they want, very easy. I was this week with some of the skippers discussing with WhatsApp as if I was discussing with you at the other side of the world. It became something very easy. Maybe we can jump on this discussion to speak about routing and assistance, Alicia.
Yes, it was a question from my friend. He said that beginning the philosophy of Vendee Globe is a solo race without assistance. Now, when you follow closely the daily life of the competitors, they are connected 7/24 with their short teams and communicating all kinds of informations. I mean, not in an emergency, of course, when they need it, you communicate, or in a medical case, but I think in every aspect there is a huge communication. And do you think still is a solo race or not? There was the question of Beysun Gökçin.
Yeah. For sure, as a common race at sea, outside assistance is completely forbidden. But it has been, we had the question and we had an answer from the race direction. Is for medical assistance is allowed, and we don't need to do anything. For technical assistance, we can have we can require the help, the assistance of our team, or any kind of help could be provided by phone or by mail or by images. If someone will give you a piece of butter, a sail, or a hammer, or any tool, or any spare parts, then you break the the forbidden physical assistance. And also for all the weather and strategic and tactic assistance. You can't send from the shore a new polar curve. You can't send a weather file. You can't send any proposal or discussion about strategy, about course to make, about a way to decide. You can't change the software from the shore. You can't update anything on that. So for sure now you could say, and it was the thing, the situation since the beginning, because since the beginning there was radio and very early satellite communication, which are completely confidential. What's happened is today, to make this race, I will just speak about the one at the leading place of the race, not the one at the back, but the one at the back. If they lie and if they hit, at least we don't care, and they will manage with their own brain. At the front of the race, all the competitors used to be competitors, not only participants. They know the rule, and to be well prepared, the best would be that they work a lot and they train a lot and they go as pupils with very good teachers to learn about weather, to learn about software, to learn about how to use weather forecasts, satellite pictures, everything you can use. And if you go on Vendee software on the internet, you will see all the data you can have. They can have those one from the shore. And because they are very well trained and very well formed before the race, their teacher, our teacher, I also had, they are the same. They also know that they don't have the right to cheat and to say anything to the competitors while they are at sea about all those considerations of weather routing, strategy, and so on. So now, if I was on a boat racing, I would say, okay, the one who learned me, they will not want to help me. They know that they don't have the right to do. So if I have someone to help me, this will be someone not better than my teachers are, and certainly worse than me. If you want to be helped by someone which is worse than you, you can play. It will help me to beat you. And at least if you are completely driven from the shore in your course, I'm sure that you will make big mistakes, because most of the time there are big differences between the weather forecast and the reality, especially from the Cape Horn to the end of the Brazilian coast, those last 2 weeks, which is the worst place in terms of really efficiency of the forecast. So for me, the problem is not occurs in the leaders, in the one after the 10th. if they want to make what they want, I don't care. It will not change the result.
Okay. So
Okay. Ahmet, söz almak isteyenler var. Alp Doğulu sıradaydı. Kendisi soru sormak istiyor.
Sesim geliyor.
Evet, geldi galiba Alp Bey. Buyurun.
Teşekkür ederim. Michel, this was a great presentation. Thank you very much. I mean, very pleasing. We felt really like we were as if we were in the race. I would also like to thank my club, Turkish Offshore Racing Club, to arrange this session. My question is, during your video, I saw that you said you need a team whom you can trust, and the team has to be a good team. But at the same time, sometime in your career, you must have decided to go solo rather than a team racer. What made you to take this decision? And I would like also to connect this with the follow-on, why the French sailors are leading the solo offshore scene and not others. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, sir. Wow, difficult question. So I will try to give a good answer. I think that I will start by the end. Today we are not the better for offshore single-handed racing. We are the lonely one. We really have the culture of this, and thank you to Mr. Eric Tabarly, who won the single-handed observer transatlantic race in 68 and 76, I think. That's correct. Or 64 and 72, I never know. And also, I think it's a part of the French culture to be our own manager of ourselves. We love that. We used to do like that ashore, and we make the same when we are sailing. And also, we are very independent. We see now regarding what's happened with the COVID and the vaccination. If we oblige the vaccination, then 75% of French would say, no, we don't want to be obliged to be vaccinated. If you say, no, we will not vaccinate, we don't care, you do what you want, then they say, no, it's not normal, we have to be to have the capacity to be vaccinated. And it's I think it's the best way to show that the French are not normal and not very serious. I would prefer not a German, but a mix between French and German, to say, okay, let's go and go forward. But then we love to do things by ourselves, including if we don't need the help of anyone, which is what we play with when we are sailing alone. But also we know that to be efficient, we can't do such preparation and such a boat and such without the help of a team around us. I always said that the result is made, 80% of the result is made before the start of the race. And for sure, the skipper is very important in this sketch around the team. The skipper is the leader. The skipper is the one who will push everybody to be the best in what we require from him. And for sure, the skipper as a politic leader, as big manager is someone who has, I don't know the name in English, maybe Alishan, you can help me. Comment on dit avoir
Yes.
de l'ego?
Egoist olmak, ego sahibi olmak.
Non, pas,
Yes.
pas égoïste. Pas égoïste, c'est qu'il veut tout ramener à lui, mais égo, c'est avoir de la personnalité.
Öne çıkmak, kuvvetli olmak, öne çıkmak, önde olmak istemek. Oui, j'essaie de le traduire en turc.
Oui, tant qu'à faire, on va gagner du temps que de passer par anglais. Et donc, être un marin, to be a single-handed sailor needs to have this kind of autonomy, and you want to decide for yourself, and you want to push around you. As it said in the video, I am very I put the requirement of, I don't know the word, so I will try to translate differently. I put the requirements on myself very high, not as much as the other one in my team, which is normal. I work for me, but we are not common people to decide on to want and to accept the job of being a leader. That's why we are able to sail alone, and we used to decide by our own. When we are with a team, we are able to ask questions to others, give their mind. But if we need to decide alone because we are alone, like on a single-handed sailing situation on a boat, then we are very happy to decide by our own. And I think that it's something common for a French guy, and also because in France we have a big culture of this sailing. We have La Solitaire de Figaro, we have the Mini Transat. Since a few years, you can make the Fastnet race with just a double-handed crew. We've got the Vendee Globe. There is a culture. So a young guy who starts on Optimist, and after he will go on the Laser, and after he will want to continue to sail alone or not. If you want to be a professional in France, he will go for Le Figaro, for La Mini Transat or La Solitaire du Figaro, and then he will see as a spotlight there, Vendee Globe, Vendee Globe, Vendee Globe. If you are a sailor somewhere in England or in New Zealand, for example, you will not have this spotlight as the Figaro or the Vendee Globe. You will see the Olympic Games, or then you will see the America's Cup. And if you see what's happened on Team New Zealand, on American Magic, on Luna Rossa, or on Ineos, there are more Olympic Games winner on sailors, but you can find on the Vendee Globe. On the Vendee Globe, the only guy who made the Olympic Games is Damien Seguin, which at least in French administration, they didn't want that we mix Olympics, especially Paralympics sailor with offshore sailor, because it was not the same family. It's not possible. So we used to decide, and we love that. That's also what I love when I was sailing alone, to decide by myself for the good and also for the bad, what that happened. I think that in our world today, to accept your own mistake and to be congratulated for what you do the best is something very precious.
Thank you.
Merci, Michel. Now we are, yes, it's about 2 hours now. We will end by one question more.
We can continue whatever you want, Alishan.
Okay, but thank you. I think also you not look tired, but okay. I will make a choice between questions. I'm sorry for the others, and I picked the question of Mr. Sedat Zincirkıra. He asked about. He's saying that the 3 parts of Turkey is with sea. Yeah, we are controlled by the seas, and the solo sailing, solo competition is not so developed. It's almost nil, zero. So, do you have any conseil for Turkish sailors, Turkish authorities, Sailing Federation, to increase this solo participation, solo sailing, solo competition? Yes.
I understand your question correctly. That's very strange because when you start sailing, most of the time you start on an optimist, in which you are alone, and after you can sail on the laser, you continue to be alone. A few years ago, I was in a New York Yacht Club with a big crowd with me, and someone asked me more or less the same question. He said, "Oh, it's strange. Why in your country you have a lot of single-handed sailors, and in US, where there are a lot of sailors, a lot of boats and sailing school and yacht clubs and very famous yacht clubs, including due to America's Cup for several years, and it's a Canadian woman who answered to him, to this guy. She said that in US the main sport is a team sport, soccer or American football or cricket, as you want. In France, for sure, there is the football, but it's slowed down now. And other sports who are famous are skiing, cycling. Even if it's a team, you are the only one on your bicycle. And it's a question of culture in your country. To help you to increase this attraction for short-handed, then maybe you could do like like they do in the Royal Yacht Squadron with the Fastnet. You can race for double-handed crew now since 2 or 3 editions, I think. Then it's a good way to show the sailors, we never sailed alone, that okay, from a full crew to 2 persons on a boat, okay, I can tack, I can jibe, I can put the spinnaker, I can trim the sails, I can make the tactic while I am steering the boat, and then you will make them understand that with only 2 you can sail properly, you can go fast, you can have fun, and then the step after will be to say, okay, now you are confident with 2. Then we will try 1, and then you will have win a long story. You will not do that in 1 or 2 years, maybe a bit more. And also you will take more young guys and girls also for sure on cruising boats to show them that they can continue to improve on small boats. Then they have a light on bigger boats. And for sure, we were speaking about an Olympic contest for offshore sails that should help also for that. Then you can find money for a mini transat, which is probably the cheapest you can do. But for sure, start to make the races you have in your place with a ranking for double. You can open for single, but maybe you will have no one for the first year. and then after you will increase the ratio and go to single-handed sailing. Why not? Yeah, go.
Thank you very much, Michel. Toplantımızın sonuna geldik. Katılanlara teşekkür ediyoruz. Michel DESJOYEAUX'a teşekkür ediyoruz. Michel DESJOYEAUX'a bir kulübümüzün onur üyeliği belgesini de takdim edeceğiz. Tabii bu sanal ortamda belgeyi göstereceğiz Zoom üstünden ama en kısa sürede Komodorumuz Vedat Tezman imzalı belgeyi de postayla kendisine ulaştıracağız. Yes, Michel, this is your honorary member certificate due to your huge contribution to offshore yachting, sailing. Is on Zoom, but in the very close future, you will receive by mail, by post, the signed document as well. Thank you very much for your participation, and we hope to see you in the future again in maybe in regatta in Turkey or in a kind of seminar like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would say thank you, everybody. I hope that it was more or less a good way to answer to a lot of what you think about offshore sailing. I would say also that I keep very good memories of when we came in 2009. I was with Foncia sailing in Istanbul, and I remember very well the race we made in the Bosphore when they stopped the traffic of the commercial traffic for us to be able to race there and tack just along the restaurants. It was wonderful, and I have very good. We had very good moment in your place, and it could be a pleasure to come back again.
Okay, thank you very much.
And stay safe, and we will fight this fucking COVID. And finish with that and be able to go and see you again as fast as possible.
Thank you, Michel.
On te remercie infiniment. Merci, à la prochaine. Thank you.
We hope to see you in Turkey again. Thank you, Michel.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ahmet. Thank you, Kate.
Bitti mi toplantımız Ahmetciğim? Bitti herhalde.
Evet, bitti. Bütün katılımcılara teşekkür ederiz. Herkesin sorularını cevaplayamadık ama zannediyorum çok verimli bir toplantı oldu. Facebook'ta da kayıtlı olarak seyredebileceğiz daha sonra kaçıranlar için. Teşekkür ederim.